This is the Rep by Rep podcast. Welcome. I'm Janos, your host today, and I'm going to go through everything I know from the past decade of training, nutrition, recovery, sleep, all that stuff, so that you can apply it to your own training and own life and improve your quality of life, strength levels, confidence, and all that. So let's get started. Now, today's topic going to be about 5 things you need to dial in to get in shape. Simple stuff. I'll try to get through as quick as possible, but again, I have this undiagnosed ADHD, so I'm probably going to go through a few more details that I actually didn't want to talk about at all. So let's see what we can squeeze out from this. So first of all, first thing you need to dial in to get in shape is your training. Now, you need to train hard, okay? If you want to change your body to the cellular level, because that's what you want. When you're in the gym, you don't want to just grow muscle on its own. You don't want to just increase the weight on the bar for no reason, okay? What you want to make sure is that you are changing your body to the deepest level, to the core, not in the sense of core training, but to the cellular level, and that is done by increasing your intensity over time. That is called progressive overload, but do that strategically, okay? Not just increasing as you like, or following your ego, or even just continuing lifting the same load over and over again because you're afraid to move up on the scale and you think your technique is not good enough. Technique doesn't have to be like massively 100%, okay? There are a few things that needs to be there, such as you keep your back tight, you follow good breathing technique. That is basically taking a big breath in before every rep if you're talking about compounds like squats and deadlifts. So there are a few things you need to follow for safety, okay, so that you don't get injured, obviously, but you don't want to stay at the same weight all the time. So sometimes the technique breaks down a little bit. That's not wrong. It will help you to apply more stress on your body, which will help you to cause more reason for your body to adapt to the stressor, which will eventually make you stronger, more muscular, good looking, all that stuff, okay? Lifting can change, and not just lifting, but even running, martial arts, whatever you do. If, of course, like injury prevention should be one of your main concern, but generally training and increasing your intensity will help you to change your hormone balance, make your bones stronger, your joints stronger, your muscles stronger, your ligaments stronger, everything stronger altogether. This is the same effect that happens when you are sunbathing, yeah? So your skin gets some exposure to the sun, and what your skin does is it tries to recover from the stress, okay? Why? Because it wants to adapt to its environment, to make you more resilient, more being able to resist to your environment. If it doesn't do that, your skin just keep getting burnt and burnt again and again. So what your body wants with exposure, or like when you are exposed to sun, okay, what it will do is make your skin resilient against the sunlight by making it more brown, right? Like you get a tan, and that is going to make you more resistant against the sunlight, right? So it's the same principle that happens when you are training. So you want to make sure that you train just enough that you can recover from your training, and not too much that you are unable to recover from your training, because if that happens, you are going to burn yourself, okay? Burn your skin on the sun, burn yourself in the gym, burn your muscles in the gym, okay? So literally you can get injured by this principle, and just like when you are overexposing yourself to the sun, you get burned. You can get the same thing in the gym, but that is not going to cause actual burn, but it will cause other problems like injuries, or even muscle loss, or just burning out, like you will feel so fatigued that you cannot do your everyday tasks, which is not what we want. We go to the gym, we do train, we do sports because we want to be active, energetic, confident, and do the things, like do everything to our maximal potential. Yeah, that's what we are doing when we are training. We are improving our potential. So it's super important that we keep these things in mind. And with that in mind, I want you to think of training not just as a stressor, but it's something that you need to adapt to and recover from. So when you're thinking about training, you also want to think about resting. So I recommend you to, if you do your own training program, like let's say you can use ChatGPT to build really cool, even customized training programs for yourself. Now, just be mindful what ChatGPT is giving you. It can giving you a lot of bullcrap, so just keep an eye on stuff, and always double check, even with ChatGPT or Google, what it's prescribed you, and see if it's any realistic. If it does, yeah, go for it. It can be helpful. So yeah, again, if you want a good training program, ChatGPT is there to build you one. Or I could say you could search training programs on Google. Like the internet is full of it. But ChatGPT can actually give you a customized one. Not just ChatGPT, Gemini, Bard, Grok, whatever you want to use. All these language models, AIs can help you with a lot of things. So this is one of them. When you actually, like, just on the side note, I heard from, like I seen in the news, that somebody actually died because of nutrition nutrition plan was assigned to someone by an AI. I think it was ChatGPT. Stone me if I'm wrong, but what you want to like, you don't want to trust in AI, okay? You don't want to trust fully. It's a useful tool. It can make your job faster, easier, but it's not replacing actual experience, and it can be misleading, okay? So if you want, create your program on any AI platform. You can even send it to me. I double check, and maybe I will ask a few questions and I can modify it for you if that suits you, and just so you have a good training program. But what I meant to go, where I meant to go for this, go towards with this conversation, is that you want to think about training, not just train, but the recovery part. So you want to make sure you program in for yourself, if ChatGPT didn't. You program in some rest days when you recover, okay? So 2 to 3 rest days per week is highly recommended, okay? So, and also, whenever you go into a training day, if let's say today you train legs and you are still sore from 2 days ago leg training, maybe you need a rest day. You don't want to go into another leg day when your legs are still sore. You want to watch your soreness, okay? Because you want to watch your recovery. Now, this is on the short term, on the weekly basis, but you also want to watch deload frequency, okay? So let's say every 4th to 6th or even 8th week, you want to do a deload. Some people do it even less frequently, but if you are over 30, it can be helpful for you to deload this much, like every 4th or 8th weeks, okay? 8 weeks, like minimum. Which means you cut back on your training load and training volume by 50%, literally. So if you do normally, just as an example, 100 kg squat for 4 sets of 10, you just cut back on the sets, so it's gonna be 2 sets, and cut back on the load. It will be 50. So 50 kg for 2 sets of 10 is 50% of the volume and 50% of the load. Why we do this is because over time you develop more and more stress, okay? And the ability to recover from all the stress you pile up on each other is going to be less and less. So you want to make sure that you recover. That's when you're getting stronger and better, and you increase your potential in everyday life. So if you go on forever, just increasing the load, the volume, the everything, eventually you will burn out and you will get hurt. You will get burnt like on the sun. So you don't want to do that, okay? Now, next on, calories. I promise you that it's very, very underrated. Okay, calories are super underrated by many people. Whoever understands how they work and understands how your body works, those people are rating it right. They think they know what it is, and trust me, whoever is in good shape and have their abs out and all that, they do track their foods, their energy intake, their calories. Okay, that's what it is. Calories are energy intake. If you track them, you will know what you are doing exactly to your body. You are losing, gaining, maintaining. Okay, and if you are serious about your goals and you want to look better, and if you don't want to look good, you might even skip this podcast right now and don't waste your time, because this podcast is to help you look better and get in shape easier. Okay, so if you are serious about getting in shape though, tracking your calories going to be everything here. Okay, if you track, you will have good control over what you're eating, what way your body is going. And if you don't, I promise you it will be just so much harder. And after all, if you're going to the gym or doing any other sports for training purposes, you really want to I mean, why would you do it if you're not going to look good after that, right? Like, you make the effort, make it pay off, right? So that would be my suggestion. Track your calories, make sure it's where it has to be. Okay, so let's say I don't want you to get over attached to calories either. Okay, so I know some people would say as an excuse that if they track calories, they get like too panicky and they can't function and they overeat all the time. Now, you don't want to care about the numbers. Same when you are weighing yourself every morning, for example, you don't want to be too attached to the numbers, because these numbers can fluctuate. Calories are very relative. How much intake you should have daily for maintenance. Somebody would have with a certain body weight 2000 calories intake on maintenance. They eat the same thing over and over, 2000 calories, and they don't change weight. That is maintenance intake. And somebody else with the same body weight, same age, same gender, they would, or sex, whichever you want, they would go for 4,000 calories, double, and they would maintain their body weight. Somebody has faster metabolism, somebody has slower. That's completely fine. So if you are tracking your calories and the numbers are too high for the calculations MyFitnessPal, for example, is giving you, you don't want to worry about it. What you worry about is what is your maintenance. You need to know that. Okay, so if you start tracking today, just enter everything you have and see what it is. Now you have your calorie intake from that one. Okay, let's say it's 3,000 calories. Okay, now if you want to lose weight, you don't want to cut all of it. You don't want to go 0 calories. You don't want to go half the calories. That will be too low. If you go too low on the calorie intake, you will just burn out, and eventually you will lose it. You can't continue for that forever. You will lose weight maybe, but you are going to burn yourself out, so that's not going to be sustainable. So what I want you to do is cut 10% from that. So if your maintenance intake is 3,000 calories, go for 2,700, 10% off. Okay, and that over time will cause you to lose weight in a steady manner, steady, sustainable manner. You will not feel too hungry, too much cravings, some maybe. You will not get too irritated, but you will lose weight eventually. So it's very, very important. And I promise you, if you track your calories and if you want to get your abs out and you want to get in shape, of course, if you track your calories, you can get there. Without it, no way, no fucking way. Okay, now next on water intake. I can't count on my two hands how many people neglecting their water intake, but it's so important. So just to make you reminded, okay, it's important. Yeah. First tip, always have water beside you. Always. Why? Because if you're well hydrated, your body can function well, can burn fat well, can build muscle well, can aid your joints, your back, all the tissues, organs in your body can take care of it. Okay, or if your body is dehydrated, all of these functions and aiding functions and mechanisms are basically switched off. You cannot lose weight, you cannot build muscle. Let's just sip more water. Okay, if you don't have water with you right now, pause the video, get a glass of water, come back here and listen. Okay, and keep sipping with me. So this is your pastime if you need. If you didn't pause the video, then, or if you did, you're here. We are all here now, I think. So then let's move on to the next one. Okay, so next will be, I think you guessed it, sleep. Okay, super important, and I talked about it a lot on my Instagram, and I will talk a lot more. I promise you, I'll talk about it a lot more on this podcast and everywhere else. Wherever you find me, I will be singing about sleep. Okay, so sleep will help you to regulate your hormone balance. For guys, your testosterone will be through the roof if you sleep well, and it will be on the floor if you don't, which means you cannot, if you don't have your testosterone levels right, you cannot lose weight, you cannot build muscle, you feel depressed, you feel fogged. That's not where you want to be. For girls, if you sleep well, your estrogen will be in amazing shape. Okay, your estrogen will be produced in optimal levels, which will help you to keep your muscles healthy, your bones healthy, your emotional stability in control, a lot of good things. If you don't sleep well regularly, your estrogen will be on the floor, just like for guys the testosterone. And what will that do is you lose your bone health, your muscle health, your joint health. You will feel pains all the time, more cravings during your luteal phase, and even you will be feeling demotivated and have a lot more emotional fluctuations over time, okay, during your cycles. Now, sleep is your recovery time. Sleep is when you recover. Sleep is when you burn most of your fat, okay? And this is when you build most of your muscle. So you want to make sure around 8 to 9 hours every day. And whatever it takes, if you have to cut back on your training time, if you have to cut back on playing games, reading book, whatever it may be, if you have to go earlier to sleep, it's your main priority. If you don't sleep well, you cannot think well, you cannot function well, you cannot live your life well, and you cannot make good conversations, you cannot enjoy making new friends, or even you cannot enjoy improving your career or your future. Because if you don't think well, your critical thinking is low, that's cause of lack of sleep. You're not as quick as normally, and that will just impair your ability to move up on your career as well, right? So that's something you don't want, and it's more like something you want to keep in check. Yeah, you want to improve your life over time, whether it's career, friends, anything, right? I'm sure if you experienced, if you sleep 4 or 5 hours, you feel like you can't think properly, you are more likely to get irritated or angry, and then you fight with people, you lose friends, you fight with your partner or kids, even worse. Okay, so you don't want to be there. You want to make sure that is out of the way and you function as well as you possibly can, and that is all done by just sleeping well every single fucking day. Okay, now next and last tip for today is going to be stress. About stress, it's not too stress, it's about stress. So it's super underrated as well. Okay, people think that stress is part of life and stress is okay. And let me tell you, stress is not okay. Some is, of course, like some present in your life can help you to be pushed towards performing better in certain areas and can help you to actually get things done. But if it's chronic stress and your training is affected, your sleep is affected, your career is affected, and it could be like you could experience stress from many things, like chronic stress we are talking about. It could be from toxic workplace, it could be from a toxic relationship, it could be from many things. Now what you want to do is, obviously you want to get rid of all the stressors you can get rid of that is actually causing you stress, because if you are overly stressed and you cannot sleep, yeah, because if you experienced that before, then you know that if you cannot sleep because of stress, you will be more stressed. Okay, you're causing more irritation, more problems, harder to solve those problems because you can't think well, piling up more problems and more stress in your life. Okay, so you want to stop this circle and you want to challenge your negative thinking as much as you can and force yourself into bed to sleep and do all it takes to take care of your emotional stability, because that is you. Okay, you want to not just think of stress as something like it's a bad thing. You want to take care of it for your own good. Okay, you want to live your life as happy as possible, because that's the only way you should live. You shouldn't live in stress, so you want to make sure that that is sorted, right? I mean, it just makes sense, right? I hope it just makes sense. So my tip for you to deal with stress, and often that stress is not of external factors, but yes, somewhat it is, but often it's internal. It's coming from you, how you perceive the world, how you approach things. So I want you to shift your thinking to as positive as possible. Now, not fake positive. I don't want this bullshit like, oh, everything is good when the world is collapsing. No, don't fucking do that. What I want you to do is, whenever you are thinking of anything, go back and look at your thought, thinking, or that thing that came up in your head, and analyze it. Approach it from like a third person view and see what it is and what it does for your future. If it's helping your future, and it could be any small thing, like thoughts, any small thing, like how you look at the sky. Oh, like the sky is so fucking shit today. Now that's not going to be helpful for your future. Okay, you don't want to prioritize the negative things in your life. I want you to prioritize looking at the positive things, and I want you to think or like challenging yourself of negative thinking. Whenever you are thinking anything negative, I want you to go back and shift your thought process to more positive. So not such as, oh, the weather is so shit today, but today is not raining, because it's not. Okay, let's say it's not. If it's raining, don't look at, oh fuck, it's raining again. No, you are thinking of, great, we don't have like the global warming is not affecting us that much. Even like in a funny way you can think about it, right? Like kind of like a satiric way to make fun of the environment, but you don't want to be engaged too much in negative thinking, because that will affect you, that will affect your actions, and that will affect your further thinking, and it will affect everything else in your life. So yeah, I would want to be very cautious with your train of thoughts, because if you're going too much towards the negatives, that will stay negative on the future as well, and it will create this vicious cycle of thinking negatively about everything, and that's just not going to help you to solve your problems. You can only solve your problems if you are approaching life with a positive attitude, with good energies, and that will help you to build your life into a castle that you are grateful for having. Okay, so it was a little bit deep at the end. But this is where we arrived to the end of the podcast. I hope you didn't think anything like it's too cringe or whatever. If you did, you're free to think that. If you liked it, please leave a like, drop a comment. If you have any kind of feedback or anything, or if you need any help, please reach out to me. If you need help with your programs or even your nutrition, if ChatGPT was suggesting you to eat something or don't eat something, I invite you to come to me first on my Instagram, reach out to me, drop a message, and I will try to help you out. And other than that, enjoy your day, and I wish you a very, very good one. Okay, so thanks guys, and see you in the next one.